Serial protesters are being warned their welfare payments could be scrapped if they don't actively start looking for jobs.
Brendan Smith joins us now from Brisbane. Brendan, Employment Minister Michaeli Cash says taxpayers shouldn't be forced to subsidise protests. That's certainly something Brisbane residents might like to hear this morning, given the climate activists in recent months.
Yeah, that's right, Laura, and that is targeting those specific full-time protesters. Of course, the multiple blockades that we've seen across Brisbane over recent months, you can pretty much see who those people are. They're the majority of those protesters who are arrested during those roadblocks. We saw earlier this week on Wednesday 6 people arrested after blocking busy Eagle Street during peak hour. They actually took temporary fences into the middle of the street and blocked a number of commuters. This time they chained themselves from their necks to these fences, and that required a number of paramedics, firefighters and police to block the street, eventually cutting those people free, and they were taken to the watch house where they were formally charged. Peter Dutton has also weighed in on this as well, saying that the Queensland government needs to do more about targeting these protesters in Brisbane. He says that magistrates are simply giving a slap on the wrist and it's not good enough, and it's not discouraging people from participating in more of these blockades. We've seen most of the charges either a fine or a temporary block within the city, but Brisbane is bracing again for more disruptions next week. We've got the International Week of Rebellion. There is a march planned for Monday, and they are planning more peak hour disruptions throughout the week. And it is interesting to note as well, a number of Brisbane locals have told me that they are becoming increasingly frustrated as a result of these blockades. A number of Extinction Rebellion protesters who were waiting outside the watch house on Wednesday actually told the media to turn off their cars, saying that there were emissions being polluting, getting emitted into the air. And I actually asked them, well, did they ask those 100 or so commuters, did they ask them to turn their cars off as well? But they couldn't answer me. So that's a little bit of food for thought for the following protests coming up next week.